if you're having a really good cup of coffee, you want something sweet to go with it. You know, in France, they give you a little bit of chocolate. I'm going to show you how to make biscotti, which is an Italian biscuit with fruit and nuts, and it's very delicious. You can dunk it, or you can stir your coffee with it, or just munch on it while you're drinking. So for that, we need some roasted nuts. So here I have some hazelnuts, and I also have some almonds, and I'm going to toast these because I think when you toast nuts you get much more flavor out of them. So nuts have a lot of oil in them, so you don't really want to heat them at too high a temperature, otherwise they'll burn. So in my Magimix thing, I'm going to put all the dry ingredients. I've got 1 1/4 cups of whole wheat flour, and I've got 1 1/4 cups of white flour. You can just put white flour if you want, but I like the weight of it with the whole wheat flour. I have a pinch of salt, a teaspoon of baking powder, and I've got a cup of white sugar. And I'm just going to give that a quick whirl around. Then here I have 3 broken eggs and 3 egg yolks, right? Mix those all up with a teaspoon of vanilla essence. Right, give that a quick beat. Try not to slosh it all over the place, which is quite likely with me. Right. And I'm gonna get that into here. And you're making a very sort of quick dough. Toss it again a bit. Right, we just give the nuts a quick stir. You can smell them starting to smell very nutty, as they ought to. Right, now I'm going to turn this dough out onto a floured surface. So let me just get a little handful of flour and go like this. Right, so just turn this out onto a floured surface, and basically you're going to bring it all together into a very kind of loose dough. Oops. Get all your bits together. Sprinkle some more flour. Like that. Right. Now, let's take the nuts off. I'm just going to put them to cool for literally 2 seconds. Right. On some paper. You don't want them to burn, right? Let's just put them aside to cool. So what I'm going to do is make 3 sort of different varieties of biscotti. So I'm going to separate this into 3 lumps, right, of about the same size. 1, 2, 3. Here I'm going to put some walnuts. I've got some chopped walnuts in this one. Now you want quite a lot of walnut happening. And I've got some chopped up apricots, so that's going in there as well. So I'm basically going to fold it into the middle, like that. Right, so this one is my apricot walnut. Then here, with this one, I'm going to do some cranberries, a little handful. Cranberries and some zest, lime zest, a little sprinkle. And with the cranberries, I'm going to put some almonds, some of my toasted almonds. Fold it together like you're making a little envelope. Right, so I've got that lump. And with this last lump, I'm going to do hazelnuts and chocolate chips. So, big handful of chopped hazelnuts, And then I'm going to get a handful of chocolate chips. Let's put a lot. I hate it when they chinks on the, chocolate chips in the chocolate chip cookie and you get 2 chips in the whole cookie. So let me put plenty chocolate chips. And then again, just folding it into itself to make sure you get all the bits together. Every slice of biscotti will have a nice, handsome serving of nuts and chocolate and fruit. Now here I've got a baking pan with my parchment on it, or you could spray a little bit of oil spray and a bit of flour. But this parchment is fantastic because nothing sticks to it, right? So I'm basically going to form, I like biscotti to be about 3/4 to an inch thick. So I'm going to form a small kind of log, like about that. Pop him down there. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's very kind of rustic pastry, sort of cookie kind of thing happening. So it doesn't have to be lines and measurements. So just roughly get it to the size you want it. That looks about right there. This is cranberry almond. And then it looks like this is apricot walnut. Okay. And I'm going to pop this in the oven for about 25 minutes at 350 degrees, okay? My biscotti smells absolutely fantastic. So I think, let's take a look. Yes, the first part of the baking process is actually finished. So I'm going to take those out and leave them to cool for about 20 minutes. So those are cool enough for me to touch them now, and I'm just going to slice them on a really sort of sharp diagonal with my sharp knife, which I've dipped in water just to help it go through. And then I'm basically going to open up all the pieces and lie them on their sides. It looks good. And then I'm going to put them back into the oven at 275 degrees for about 20 more minutes, just to let them dry out a little more. I think the biscotti is just about ready now. Let me, yes, grab that. And it looks brilliant. You can see all my chocolate chips and my nuts and things like that. And that is going to be fantastic with coffee. So I've got this rather lovely plate here. Oops. And I'm just going to lay those out in a kind of ad hoc way. Smell really, really nice. And they keep for a long time as well if you put them in an airtight container in the freezer.